What's up, guys? Welcome back to the A&H Podcast, Bahrain's first and only business and marketing show with your host Hussaini and your co-host
Abeer Husaini.
All right, so it's been a while since the last podcast. What's been going on a bit?
Busy.
Busy. All right,
Yeah.
Today, what we want to talk about is simple advertising, okay? So, obviously, all marketing pretty much is done online now. And I want to talk about how you should be running your
I'll say majority,
like 90%,
Yeah.
right? So I want to talk about how you should be running your online ads, why certain online ads don't work, and how do you measure the success of an online ad today. And so specifically, we're going to be talking about Facebook and Instagram ads and how you should be crafting them.
Now, before we get into that, which is great detail and information that people need, but there is a thing that people always fail to understand. Posting on Instagram, Facebook, wherever your social media is not an ad. It is just a normal post.
Yes.
Because they always get them confused. So
Yes.
if you're just doing your daily post, they think they're actually running an ad.
Yeah. That's interesting. So people actually think that.
Yeah.
And also, just sponsoring what you're already posting does not make the most effective ad, right? Because I notice a lot of our clients and a lot of people out there, they'll post some stuff on their Instagram or their Facebook and they'll decide to boost that post or sponsor that post. So what that means is obviously we're going to have a lack of controls when it comes to the targeting, the messaging of what that ad is supposed to do, right? So let's talk about this first. There's a massive difference between an awareness campaign and an advertising campaign,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people, and I've heard this by quite a few people, not to mention names, when it comes to advertising in Bahrain specifically, because obviously it's a small country, and they're like, no, in Bahrain, just boost it, like put a big budget on it, and everyone will see it eventually. What do you think about that?
Well, it depends on what you want out of your ad. If it is an awareness,
Yeah.
and if it is a business that everybody can benefit from,
Yeah.
then this technique actually works. Since Bahrain is small and whatever you're offering is something that everybody might find interest in.
Yes.
So you're just doing a mass campaign where you're targeting everybody and you're spreading awareness to everybody.
Yeah.
But if you have something that's niche and not everybody find interest in,
Yeah.
then you cannot do this technique and you need to go and find a better solution, a better strategy for your ads.
Okay, well, here's the thing, right? So I happen to be a person that does not agree with that, right?
Okay.
With that generic, I call this the carpet bombing method, right?
Fine. If you want to spread awareness, Hussain, and
Yes.
it's for everybody.
Yes. Very good question.
Yeah.
And I'd like to address this, right? As to why I don't agree with the carpet bombing method and what you should be doing in order to be optimizing your campaigns online, right? So let's say we do have a generic product, okay?
Yeah.
So give me an example of a product. Let's say it's a car.
No,
right?
clothes. Cars
Clothes.
is still specific, by the way.
Clothes is still specific. Is
No.
it male clothes? Is it female
No.
clothes?
Imagine it's
Is it kids' clothes?
I understand. Now, when I'm saying about clothes, I'm not talking about a specific. I said general. So if you're talking about general, then it's a retailer that actually has kids, men, women, sports. So
Fantastic.
they have a range of items.
Fantastic. And I still disagree with that statement because why? For example, I'm a retailer that has all sorts of clothes,
Yeah.
men, female, kids, whatever, right? We're living in a world where we have all the tools in our hands. So let's say I was going to I had 1,000 dinar budget for this
Okay.
ad campaign, right? So I could put my 1,000 dinars onto this one ad generically and raise awareness. Yes, sure, awareness would be there. I'm not disagreeing with that fact. But what is more effective? If I did a 1,000 dinar ad on this one video or post or whatever, or picture, whatever it is for that brand, or if I segregated my ad campaign and I did kids clothing targeting for kids, female targeting for females,
Now,
males
when you
targeting
say
for
kids
males,
clothing targeting
parents.
kids, are you going to target the kid
targeting
itself?
the parents, right? I'm targeting
Exactly.
the parents. No, but the messaging. Okay, so even my headline, my messaging would be
Yeah.
clothes for your kids, treat them, school's coming up, back to school or whatever it is. Or if it's for men, it's like, look good with
Now
this
you're
and
not
that. and
doing
females.
awareness. Now you're doing a specific target.
That's what I'm saying. There is no such thing as a generic awareness
There
when
is.
you have tools.
There
So
is.
my point is, right, you could do it both ways. What is more effective? If I spent if I split my money up into, let's say, 3 segments, right? 300 dinars, 300 dinars, 300 dinars. Now my male-orientated messaging would be targeting only men. And by the way, even men, I could then break up between teenagers and older males, right?
I will disagree.
The clothes and the style is
whatever.
different.
I'll tell you, yes. By the way, do you know that majority of male guys,
Yes.
basically, they don't buy their own clothing?
Yes.
Their woman or their whoever they are, their mom, their wife, their girlfriend actually does the buying for them.
Amazing. So this proves my point even further.
No.
And I'll explain.
It doesn't.
I'll explain why. And this is the whole point of this video today, right? That it's very much. This is how you should think about this. So, if I'm doing an ad for male clothing,
Yes.
and then we say, well, there are men that will go buy their own clothes.
Yes, there
are
are
men that their wives or girlfriends or mothers will buy them their clothes.
Yes.
As an example,
Yeah.
right? So then I would be targeting, when I'm thinking about the male whose wife would buy his clothes,
Yeah.
I'd be targeting women who are in a relationship married,
Yeah.
and then run an ad campaign for them. And my messaging would be treat your husband to X, Y, and Z. You see, I've narrowed it down even further. So I'm talking very specifically to that person, because the whole point of my ad campaign is I want to get as much action, and as much engagement, as much sales off that ad, rather than keeping it generic to everyone. Because for example, did you know, I could just target women who are married,
Yeah.
who have an anniversary coming up,
Yeah, I know.
and be like, your anniversary is coming up. Why don't you buy your husband this and that, right?
Yeah.
Now the messaging. This is the whole point that I was talking about, going away from the carpet bombing method. Yes, we've got the same product, but we have 5, 6, 7 different ways of using it and targeting to different people, and therefore we can actually measure the result of each little one and see which one's working best for us.
I totally agree with whatever you said, but the initial question wasn't that. The initial question was if you want to do an awareness, and it's completely
Yes.
different. This is specific marketing.
No.
Now, if you're targeting somebody that has an anniversary coming up, this is not awareness. This is targeting people that have an anniversary coming up. I'm trying to sell them the product or whatever that's suitable for
Yes.
anniversaries, whether it's a car, a clothes, or men clothes, women clothes. It doesn't matter what the product is. But when you say awareness, it means I want to actually have every Billy, John, Samantha, everybody on the street talking about this one thing.
Yeah.
So there is a completely different.
This is what I said in the beginning. There's an awareness and
Yeah.
there's advertising, and I wanted to make
But
the
you asked me
difference
about
clear.
awareness,
And I said a lot of people,
You're cheating.
when they're advertising, they're taking the awareness approach, right? And so what I mean is, yes, you've got your generic campaigns, okay, which let's say your telecoms do and stuff, right? But even they could segment it further. And I'm just saying, money is better spent not running awareness campaigns. And by the way, even when we talk about awareness, I want to make this clear as well. Even if you spent 1,000 dinars, which in Bahrain, people would consider that's a lot of money for one post. Not as an overall marketing, but I'm saying
Well,
that
why do you
one
have
single
to,
video.
Why do you have to put it on one single
No,
video?
but what I'm saying is, you know how they're okay, because it's a small market, if I spend this 1,000, the whole country will know about it? No, they wouldn't. Because
No.
if you actually look at the numbers,
They
right,
don't show it to
you're
everybody.
not going to reach 600,000 people,
Yeah.
800,000 people. You're going to reach 100,000 people, 200,000 people, and they
Who
might
have
be the
seen it 4 or 5 times.
exact, and they might be the wrong people.
Yeah.
So that's why I said targeting is very important. And the second thing I wanted to lead into, right, is again taking our example that we had with the generic stuff, right? What is this headline that's supposed to grab their attention? Okay, forget the picture, forget the video. Yes, you're going to do a great job at that. You're going to do something nice. What about the headline, the lead-in? You know, a lot of people don't pay that much attention to the copy that goes with it.
Yeah.
You know, so some people don't even write text. They just sponsor anything, you know, the picture, the videos, that's their hero, right? But what about the lead-in?
You know, it baffles me sometimes when I see these kind of ads where it's a product, but it doesn't have a price, it doesn't have where do I get it from, it doesn't have a contact number to actually call to get more information, and it's just an ad running. And you look at it, like, okay, what's the point of this ad? And then
That's
Some other
awareness.
time, no. Awareness is not like that. Come on, not by my standards. Don't mix up the generic standard in Bahrain by my standards. They don't mix. And I'm not saying it out of arrogance. I know what my standards are. Number two is sometimes you see, or on the other hand, you sometimes see an ad which is bombarded with information that the messaging gets lost. I see an article. It's not an ad anymore. It's just an article with information. Phone numbers, websites, this, that, prices, clashes. Oh, hang on a second. Whenever you're trying to actually advertise something, be specific about what you're trying to advertise. Be specific about the message that you're trying to get out there. And sometimes less is more. I don't have time to sit there and read like a 10-minute article about whatever, that unless it's a service that you need to explain more, then our article makes sense. But if you're trying to sell me a t-shirt, an article of that t-shirt will not go hand in hand. But I need to know the materials of that t-shirt. I need to know the sizes available. I need to know things that are specific to that t-shirt.
Every industry is different, right? So like, for example, and good thing you mentioned about price. Like I see this all the time with real estate ads, okay? And the number one comment in the questions on the
how much is it?
Is how much is it? And then they'll be like, send me a DM.
Exactly.
Right? Now, I see what the agent's trying to do. They're too scared to say, this is a
how much it is.
200,000 dinar apartment, because they think, if I get the lead, then maybe I can convince him. But that's not true.
No,
that's not true. So there's nothing wrong with having a price there with certain products, right? Now, one of the things is, like you said, no one wants to read an essay. Well, there are people who want to read essays, but
depending
the
on what it is.
most important part of that ad is you only got 2 lines before you have to click the read more button. Now you should grab that interest with those headlines, and if someone wants to read more, then you can provide that information to them. And the fact is, if they're going to read more, that means they're interested. Otherwise they would have scrolled past it anyway. So that's why I said the headline is what should just grab you, right? And you shouldn't be trying to necessarily sell on that headline, you know? So for example, you know, if you were talking about flowers on Valentine's Day, right? Now we know you're selling flowers, right? But what's more interesting, a headline which is buy flowers for Valentine's Day, or 10 things your partner really wanted to know before buying a gift this Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just giving an example. You need to intrigue interest. And the whole point of running an ad is the number one thing you should think about is, what problem is your product trying to solve? And then you go craft your ad, right? So you're not trying to do a feature benefit and be like, yo, I got flowers, I have t-shirts, I have a website for 500 dinars. You know what I mean? Like, and I see this a lot, even in our industry. Get a website for 400 dinars.
Oh my God, cool. It makes me cringe. Because for me, a website is not just a website.
So what problem is this website trying to solve? And then you work backwards. No, I'm talking about the actual ad that they're running.
The 400 is not solving anything.
Just the website.
It's just a generic website that's just going to be online doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly. So now, if I was running an ad for building a website, right? Now I see, hey, get a website, 500 dinars. Cool, awesome. You know what I mean? But again, if the ad said 5 things to consider before building your next website and wasting crazy money, now that grabs my attention. I'm not trying to sell them in the ad. I'm trying to take them to my landing page. And again, landing page. What is a landing page? It's a page
where you land on.
Which you land for that one product or service. You're not trying to confuse people by navigating your website of 100 services, because then, okay, he's interested in getting a website. He comes onto your landing page. This landing page job is to sell them more onto why they should work with you, what's so great about you, what's so great about the websites you've done, and some sort of call to action so they can connect with you. But everyone's trying to sell on the ad, and this is the problem, and this is why these ads don't convert. What do you think about that?
I agree that every ad needs a process, needs a thought behind it, needs a value add, needs a solution. And I actually get amazed by amount of companies. I'm not talking about a startup. A startup, you always give them the benefit of the doubt. They're called a startup for a reason.
Yeah.
But when you go to businesses that have been in the industry for years, and they are somehow, you would assume that they have the knowledge about their product or service. And when you ask them, what value do you actually add in your customers' lives?
Yes.
And they just look at you and go, we don't know.
They don't know what value they add.
No. And it makes me cringe. Like, you don't understand how much it makes me cringe. That I'm just sitting there going, why am I sitting here in this meeting trying to answer a basic question that the business needs to know? Now, if you don't know what your value is as a business, everything around your business is not built in a correct way.
Yeah.
For example, if my value is customer service,
yes,
then I know my mission, I know my vision, I know how to train my staff, I know the language I'm going to use, and it's all based around customer service.
Yeah.
If I don't know why and what I'm trying to solve, what value I'm trying to add in anybody's life, what am I there for?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, businesses get paid to solve people's problems. And if you don't know what problem that is or what solution that is, then you obviously have a problem.
And trust me, some people, when you ask them this question, they think, they have to be the number one or the only business that's providing a service or a product. It's not about being the only one, because no matter what you think about, no matter what you come up with, somebody else around the world have actually done it. And they might be in stages ahead of you.
Yeah.
So your idea is not unique. Your product is not unique. The service, whatever, is not unique. But there is some element that makes it unique.
Yes.
Whatever you had added to it, whatever you brought to the table, amended, or whatever the culture is of that company, that makes it unique. And this is what we're looking for. And even in the ad, every ad is different than the other, because each one has its own message, has its own target, has its own thing that's trying to highlight.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. And people think, no, it's always the same. No, it's not the same. This is different than this, and that's different than that. You tell me what you want. For example, let's go back to a clothing company.
Yeah.
Okay, because why do I go back to it? Because it's easy for everybody to understand.
Okay.
No, okay, because it's easy for everybody to relate to. Now, a campaign with sales, for example, is completely different than a campaign of a new product line.
Yes.
It's completely different than, for example, a toy section in that department store. So when people come and jumbo mumbo all of it in one ad because they think that slider feature is so amazing,
it's horrible.
Oh my God.
But this exactly comes back to the point of that targeting, right? So in that
I'll tell you, for example,
store, the toy ad should be separate.
Completely.
The male clothes ad should be separate. The female clothes ad should be separate.
Even if you're trying to do sales, okay?
Even if it has an offer, but you're still targeting different people.
Yeah, but do the slider with items that are relevant together, that complement each other, if you want to use the slider.
If you want to use the slider. And it should be all male, toy. It shouldn't be mixed, is the point, right? And the thing is, for example, the best example here, now, you're talking about an e-commerce retail department store website, right? So when you're running a toy ad,
it doesn't have to be a website.
But I'm saying as an example, since everyone's buying online today, right? So then even that ad, when you click on it, should link to the toy category on the website. Yeah. And then the male one should link to the male fashion on the website.
And if you want to be more specific, it would link you to the same product that actually grabbed my attention. Now, if I like that t-shirt, for example, I want to find that t-shirt. I don't want to go on your websites for 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Scrolling around, not finding that t-shirt because it's out of stock, actually.
Absolutely.
And then just, don't find anything that I like.
By the way, here's the interesting thing. It's much easier and more cost effective to run an ad for a single product, even if you have 1,000 products, okay? But you run an ad for a single product with the right messaging to target. I mean, look, if someone wants a toy, they're interested in any toy, but let's say that specific one, because you can go very specific. You can make a video about that specific toy. You can have different pictures of it being used, being played with, and let the user go to that single product on the website. And then, user's not an idiot. He knows how to go browse the rest of the toys and everything. But now you've made an effective ad. The job of the ad was to simply get the guy to go onto your website and not to say, we have everything and buy everything, because then the messaging gets lost and you get less clicks.
And the funny thing with companies that have 1,000 or 2,000 product line, they come and ask you, okay, which one of those shall I put on the ad? Well, go back to your database. Which one of your products is most sold? Use that as a hook and then advertise it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's simple.
Because you're trying to drive traffic to your store. Now, even like with any retail business, right? So if we even think about a restaurant, for example, right? If I have a new crazy milkshake and I'm advertising that milkshake because that is so crazy and people are gonna be like, what the hell is this thing? Well, they're gonna come to my store. And when they're at my store, there's a menu.
And they
can pick a burger, they can pick a fries. I don't need to show them everything.
No.
I need to find the hook.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think the biggest conclusion of this podcast today is to be very single product or service focused. When you're running an ad. Be very specific. Figure out the problem you're solving and write your ad or your copy in that way. And then the measure is in where? How many of you actually look at the cost per click on your ads? Like, you spent 100 dinars, how many clicks did your ad get for those 100 dinars? The more expensive that is, the worse your ad is performing, and you should pause it. Don't keep going with it. Like, do not do this carpet bombing thing. If you're running an ad and you spend $100 and you got 20 clicks, so each click's costing you like $2 or something, you need to stop that ad and be like, there's something wrong with it here. And then change the picture, change the headline, keep tweaking it. It's not like in the old days where we put a billboard up and that's it. We can't do anything. We're done for the month. We can't change that at all. So use technology to your advantage.
And by the way, also, it's not rocket science. If you didn't have people walk into your business, or people buying your product, or people asking about your service, and after you launched an ad, you got interest in that product, interest in that service, where do you think they came from? Don't go and say, oh my God, the ad didn't do anything for me. No, the ad did do something for you. You didn't know how to convert people. Simple.
And by the way, like I would always say, there is nothing, depending on the type of business you're running, there's nothing wrong with running an offer, right? And you should always try to run an offer to your highest margin product. So you're still making money off it. And the whole point isn't for them to just buy the offer. It's to actually grab their attention and start browsing your other products as well, which you're selling at full price. And, look at your calendar, look at what's coming up, and craft your offers in different ways for different people at different times. We're not living in the old days where I'm going to put some El Wasit offer out there or a billboard offer out there that I can't change. No, maybe I want to give an offer today just for people whose birthday is today. And you can target that and be like, hey, happy birthday, Hussain. Here's a free cupcake on us, as an example.
And then they wonder why there is a strategy behind every ad.
It's
not just,
this is the whole point.
It keeps changing. Every day it changes depending on what you want, depending on the product, depending on the target, depending on... It keeps changing, even for that one business. If this is not performing, then we change the strategy and launch it again.
Yeah, so one of the most amusing things that I find sometimes, and I've actually seen this with clients and other people I know, and their way of measuring the success of an ad, he's like, well, are you sure you're running the ad? Because my CEO hasn't seen it.
Oh my God. Your CEO is not the target.
No,
I know what you mean.
I need the director to see it so he knows we're doing something. I'm like, dude, just measure the money in the bank, bro. Why are you measuring by who specifically, individually has seen it? Have you not had those yourself?
Oh, a lot. A lot.
So, you science guys, don't go with this generic, if John over there didn't see the ad, then clearly you're not running the ad properly. So, till the next time, guys, Keep your marketing upright. Click the like, subscribe, comments, all the good stuff below, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
Bye-bye.